Hi there. Today I want to talk about something that I need help with. So I want the people of this community to give me anything that has worked for them on this topic. And the thing that I'm struggling with right now is creating a balance between my two kids. My firstborn, who is autistic, and my second one, who is a typical child. And when I first thought about doing something like this, I thought, well, I can talk about all the things that has worked for me as a parent for both kids, like the autistic kid or I should say the neurodivergent kid and a neurotypical kid. But the other day, I was talking to my second child, the neurotypical kid, and she told me in one of her conversations she had asked for something and which I really thought was unreasonable, but which was very reasonable for her, and I had to say no because uh, well, as a parent, when I thought about it, it was unreasonable. So then she said, Mom, when she said, Mom, when I was born, because you had been a mother to an autistic child for 3 years already, and you knew how to handle my sister, is it, is that why you don't know how to handle a typical child? Is it why you always want to say no for everything? Because my sister, most of the times, does things that are harmful or she's hurting herself. Like if she wants something, she'll cry for it, or she wants to bite her fingers, bang her head on the wall, or throw stuff on the floor. And I have to a lot of times interrupt her and stop that activity and direct her to something else, which I think I make a lot of decision for her because there are a lot of things that she cannot cognitively decide. And my neurotypical kid, who is 10 now, and she is very much aware of her surroundings. She's very much self-aware and she knows what she wants, what she likes, and she doesn't need me to think for her a lot of times because she is her own personality. But as a mother, I feel like I'm always thinking about what is best for her from my perspective, which might not be what is for her in reality because she has a very different personality than I do. So when she told me that, it was like a rude awakening. It was like she is so right because I always pull out this mom card and I'm always thinking I know better than you, which in reality I do not know better than her because I am not her. And we are two different personalities. Our interests are different. I am somebody who doesn't even want to go out on a sunny day, and I like to stay indoors, and she is somebody who wants to go on a hike. She is into gymnastics. She is into all the things that I wouldn't do even in my wildest dreams. So we are very different. And just that made me realize that I need to change here. It is something that I had never thought about before, and I'm not saying that I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like I was doing the best I could still, but and I see that from her perspective, how unfair it is for her. So I need some help here on how to get out of that mom knows best perspective and how to um, get this child, you know, let her live her life the way she wants to. And I know that I'm talking about a child who probably has gone through a lot even in her childhood because my oldest, when she was about 5.5 6, she was the most aggressive at that time, and she was only 3.5. So I remember multiple times when my neurotypical child would come up to me and want to be hugged and picked up and played with. But as a mom, as I'm about to go pick her up, I see my neurodivergent child hitting her head on the wall, or, trying to do something that is actually going to hurt her. And I would automatically run to her so she wouldn't hurt herself. And at that time, in that situation, in that moment, I feel like, and I still do feel like, I did what was best for both my kids. I did not, how being in a medical field, like I can compare it to a situation like you go to an emergency room and there is this triage nurse who has to decide who goes first. If a person is having a heart attack, that um, always goes first versus a person who came with a broken limb. To the person with a broken arm, they are hurting, their need is important, but as a triage nurse, you also know that this person who's having a heart attack probably doesn't have much time and needs to go first. So, in my perspective, when I look back at this scenario of trying to balance between the two kids, I want to believe that I did what was best for both my kids at that time, because I didn't want my neurodivergent kid to be hurt. And then if I wasn't there for her when she started banging her head, I know that it would escalate into a meltdown soon. And when she goes into a meltdown mode, she doesn't see who is in front of her, and she might hurt my little child. So I would tell my 3.5-year-old daughter to go in the room with our dog and read a book. And she would go into the room and close the door and stay there, sometimes for the whole 4 hours, for me to come and say it's safe to come outside. And when I'm thinking about it now, I feel like I was doing the right thing, but I've never thought about it from this little child's perspective. 3.5 years old, in a room for almost 4 hours, just waiting for me to come and say, we're okay, you can come out. And, I still couldn't play with her after 4 hours because I would be so exhausted from all the fight that I had to put up with, all the, like protecting my neurodivergent child. So I would be worn out. But as a mother, I still feel like I did what was needed at that time. But looking back now, I do see that my younger child probably felt so scared and alone, and like she was always put second. So I hope that one day she'll realize um, and forgive me for what I had to do. But she's 10 now, and I just want some suggestions on what I can do so I can keep the balance and change my perspective on um, how to let her be her, and how to see this situation from not just being the mom who knows best, because I've always had to advocate for my neurodivergent kid. And so I feel like I am already in that mode all the time, and I just don't know how to let go of that. And I think for my child's, my second child's development, I should really try and um, let go of being the mom knows best attitude, of having that attitude and changing it to let her trying out things that she wants to, let her fail on her own. So um, this is one thing where it's a stressor for me, and I want it to change into eustress. I want to do something positive about it, and I need your help. Please let me know what you guys have dealt with and how you feel like you've achieved a positive outcome from it. Thank you so much. Bye bye.